Unfortunately, his dad died when he was 16. He was a football coach of a high school in San Antonio, but I saw Red. I put him working for me doing just odd and menial kind of tasks, but he is a tremendous deal maker, and we really are doing some things in McCombs Partners. He's probably put together 28 deals in the last 4 years that we take a big interest in. They're all across the board, different kind of things. What we like to do, what I say is, I'm not a good investor, but I'm a very good partner. And I don't like just owning shares in something. I want to have some say-so over. But there are a lot of little companies and products started out there now that are doing okay, but we pick out a few that we think with a little more capital and a little different direction that a guy can make a lot more money out of it. So we try to buy from 20 to 40% in there, but most all of those are online related type products. So I think we're just beginning to see how far that's going to go. Would you buy a car without doing some checking online?
Not at all.
Well, it hardly happens.
Thank you.
A little shorter than normal right here. Mr. McCombs, you've done and how would you advise us to take full advantage of them?
Did you get that? He asked, what opportunities would you advise us to take advantage of? You've done such a good job of taking advantage of
Yeah,
opportunities.
well, thanks for the question. I think you just got to see what you run across, or what if something you're interested in. You go to the net now. My God, it's just the whole world is out there to look at and see something you like. See if you can find a way to move into it. I love these ideas the guy came up with, the BHAG, big, hairy, audacious goals. They come from almost anywhere, anything. I had lunch with a guy right here yesterday that has been touting me onto a deal, and just real briefly, in the last 3 years, picking up type of loans from huge banks that really are based with real estate type contracts of some kind or another. He's ended up now to where already he's got about 70 packages around the United States, chartered capital, representing maybe as many as 60,000 properties. Well, I'm very interested in what he's doing, and he just kind of stumbled into that working for a guy. So I just think there's so many opportunities out there. You have to look and see what turns you on and go for it.
Thank you.
I got 2 or 3 losers I'll let you have.
Mr. McCombs, you've had an amazingly successful career, and I'm curious to know what you view as your single greatest achievement from your past.
Well, my biggest single achievement is seated right here. Her name is Charlene.
Wow.
Charlene was raised in very nice circumstances in Corpus Christi, and all of her friends said, "Don't fool with that guy, it won't work." Most of them are now divorced. And we'll do 62 years on November the 9th. She's prettier today than she was 62 years ago. She does kind of keep me on an even keel.
Thank you again for coming to speak with us. If you were running for President of the United States right now, what are some policies that you would be promoting to jumpstart the economy, both broad economic policies as well as maybe specifically in energy?
What a great question. if I were a czar today, if something happened that God's plan that I was the czar of the United States, I would take all of the regulations in that Federal Register that are there and get me a team of about 25 or 30 bright guys and say, go through here, leave any of them in there you want, but throw a fourth of them away. And I'd start there. I'd get rid of a fourth of the regulations that are just unbelievably hampering anybody trying to operate businesses. And smaller businesses, I don't know how the guys do it now, because you are regulated into everything you do. And it's just such a handicap, it serves no good purpose. Obviously, we can't live without some kind of regulations, but believe me, and if I were running for president, and I haven't done this, but I would go to Washington and get the Federal Register, and I would look at it and just see the size of it just since Obama's been president. And then I would get the same number of months prior to that, and I will bet you, I don't know this for a fact, I will bet you that this is 40% more pages in here than what it was when he took office. It doesn't work. And I'm not saying it's just him, but we are over-regulated. Let this pony run, and a lot of good things can happen. Now, you're always going to have people that are going to scam the system. And I don't care how many regulations you got. You know, some people are going to try to beat it. They're going to do things that are not good. But at the end of the day, you've got to follow the golden rule, you know. Do what you want somebody to do for you. And by and large, the nature of people is not to run over people and do bad things and create bad issues. So I would quickly, I would start unraveling regulations. And you would see the economy boom.
We're going to expect to see your name on the ticket.
Mr. McCombs, thank you so much for coming, and thank you to the GBC for also inviting the Working Professionals MBA. So I had a question that, we always say that when you're on the top of the hill, everything's great, right? But it's at those valleys that you really learn things. So what was the company that you failed, or what was the experiences that made you stronger because some business didn't pan out, and what did you learn from that, and what was it, and how was it?
Well, the greatest setback that I've ever had in my life was I'm an alcoholic, and my family, no one ever drank alcohol. As a matter of fact, where I was raised, there wasn't alcohol for 150 miles from my home. What we call everything was dry. I never drank until I was 20 years old. I was already been in the service, done all these other things I already told you about. I was a casual drinker, and somehow by the time I was 48, something had happened. And instead of drinking because I wanted to, I was drinking because I had to. And it's the worst thing ever happened to me in my life because I was depressed. I'd read about depression a lot, but I really didn't understand it. And I began to try to fix it myself. And Charlene didn't know I was an alcoholic. My 3 daughters didn't know I was an alcoholic. I never was a falling down drunk, but I realized I couldn't start the day without it. And I tried, and I got on my knees, and I'm a great believer. I said, God, you got to help me. I've got to have some help. I'm not going to get this done. I was trying to do it without going to treatment center and being discovered and all this kind of stuff and all. So at 2 o'clock one Sunday morning, I had convulsive coma, and Charlene thought I'd had a stroke. And by the time the doctors got to working on me for 2 or 3 hours, they said, he's not going to make it. You started making some plans. But this has got to be alcohol related. And Charlene said, I don't think so, because Red drinks on a regular basis, but he's not a heavy drinker. Well, she didn't know how heavy a drinker I was. Because once you become addicted to something, you become a liar and a cheat. and I was hiding it, doing a pretty good job of it. But I was in an alcoholic coma for about 5 days. About the third day, the doctor said, Charlene, we're seeing a miracle happen here. We think he's going to make it. About the fourth or fifth day, I was coming out of the coma. I didn't know what the hell happened to me. Yeah, where am I? What am I doing? So at any rate, that was by far the biggest setback, because something over which I had no control. And here I was, totally dying, really. Had absolutely no control. When I started coming out of the coma, I realized something really had changed, and suddenly, well, God, this is it. I don't have that craving anymore. I don't have a chemical craving. And I realized I had been relieved of that. Now, was that because of all the medicines I was taking to keep me alive, that I got detoxed during that time? I don't know. But I knew that craving was gone. And I thought, God, here I am. I've been totally addicted to this stuff for over 2 years. I'm 50 years old. God has given me a new life. And I mean, joy is just, I can't tell you the joy. And Charlene and my girls were thinking, what's wrong with you? They were so happy that I was coming around, but like, I was, oh, God, you're not going to believe I got my life back. In my mind, I just realized God had a plan for me. I didn't know what it was. I don't know what it is today. But I'm very careful about turning somebody down on something if I think it's going to help them, because maybe that's what I'm supposed to do. But I'm getting way off track here, but I'm telling you, nothing else in my life ever happened to where I was out of control, and I'm a control freak. I control my life. I control everything I do. And suddenly I couldn't. So I have had that. And now I do a lot of work, like right here on this campus. There's a group called Students in Recovery. Meet in the basement over at the on San Jacinto at the Social Sciences Building. I got a call from a professor right here on this campus about 3 years ago. Mr. McCombs, I am a reforming alcoholic. I try to help students as much as I can, but we have the greatest health service in the world, but they really don't understand addictions, and we really don't have a program here. Would you help me put together a program? And in my spare time, I will volunteer. I'll help some of these students, and I'll get referrals from the medical center here for the university. And she said, I've gotten permission from the people over, and she taught over in social sciences. She said, I've gotten permission from the dean over here that I can use the basement, but it's got to be refitted. You know, it's all pipes and this and that, and restored or whatever. And she said, I've already got a friend of the family that's agreed to do it for $500,000. Would you show me, help me? I'm not asking you for money. Tell me how I can raise this money, because there are kids here that need help. I need a lot of them. And I'm trying to help as many of them as I can, but I don't have any room to do it. Right here on this campus. I said, give me your number, I'll call you right back. So I called Tex. I told Tex Moncrief, who's 8 years older than I am, which means he's way old. Great friend, done a lot of things together, loves UT. I called him and I said, Tex, we got this little problem. I told him about it. I said, I want to give this program $250,000. Will you give them $250,000? He said, tell me where to send it. I said, God, you're easy, man. You're easy today. He said, you know, you called me 150 times, Red, over the last 30 years. He said, that's the least you ever asked me for. So anyway, we took that $500,000, retrofitted the building. We now have about 170 students in that program, and taking place right on this campus, doing great work. Have any of you ever heard of it? Even heard of it? Yeah. Well, at any rate, you know, when you're in addiction, you don't go around advertising it, and you really become you don't want anybody to know it, of course. But at any rate, that's far and away the worst scene I ever went through in my life. But on the other hand, it turned out being such a great victory. Just, you know, the kind of victory that's like life and death victory. There's nothing greater.
Well, great. I think that about wraps it up.
You've heard all this.
No, it was great. Being respectful of your schedule. Thank you so much on behalf of.
Well,
McCombs
let me
School
thank
Business
you, and I'm sorry I got off track so much, but I tell you, I really like talking about the things of this school. It's not that I care so much about talking about myself, but if talking about myself helps any of you any, I'm happy to do it. But I don't think there's anything special about what I've done. It is added up pretty well, but I will do it just as long as God gives me strength, and it does occasionally, like I've mentioned, my family realizes that now when I make big time investments, it's really their money I'm spending. One funny thing about that I want to tell you. We're coming up here to make the announcement to the media. And Rad Reaver was driving, Charlene and my two daughters were sitting in the back seat of the car, and they were going like this. And we were nearing San Marcos, coming up from San Antonio. And I wanted to say something. And Charlene and the two girls were, so I reached down underneath where they couldn't see, and I punched Rad, like, watch this. So in a loud voice, I said, Rad, we're nearing San Marcos, 30 minutes away from the big announcement about my gift to the school. I can't wait. As a matter of fact, I'm so excited about it, I think I'll double it. My youngest daughter in the back seat stopped talking. All the talking stopped immediately. She said, Dad, you know, you've already knocked us out of $50 million. Please. And I said, I just want you to stop talking because I want to.
That's great. Thanks so much.